Are Indian alcohol stocks coming off vogue, and we've started to see some brands really emerge. Within those brand baskets, we have something like a Radico Khaitan, which is standing out. A Motilal Oswal sees a 20% upside from here, even despite it being a multi-bagger over the last 5 years. Despite that, and here's why, and I'll give a bit of a background on the company first off. We're talking about one of the oldest and largest manufacturers of Indian made foreign liquor. The net revenue stood at around 4800 crore in FY25. It sold around 3 crore cases in FY25, half of which was prestige and above. Now, prestige and above commands better margin but is also higher priced, and that's what really stands out. An Indian alcohol company able to scale growth through even higher pricing. That's what stands out for me. Now, prestige and above has grown very well. The number of cases sold stood at just 40 lakhs 10 years ago. Currently sits at 1.5 crore cases out of the 3.1 crore cases it sold. And that is the other piece that's really standing out. Premiumization will continue to drive growth is what Motilal Oswal says. In fact, they are saying that volume growth for something like a Radico will be sub 10%. But prestige and above volume growth will be 15% plus. So that will continue to drive the numbers for something like a Radico Khaitan. New launches are coming through. Luxury and premium segments are the segments in which they've made new launches. New launches have been the likes of Trikal, which is an Indian single malt, and Morpheus, which is the super premium whiskey that have been added to the catalog that Radico already sells. In terms of where it sells to, the geographic footprint is expanding. It's expanded now. The retail touch points have clocked 100,000, and you have 10,000 on-premise locations on which these brands are sold. It's also a space where there are several industry barriers, right? So the barriers for entry are large. But the one key piece which has held back in terms of commentary versus delivery is margins. Now, in terms of margins, the high inflation in glass and extra neutral alcohol is what's impacting the numbers. The numbers otherwise are going in the right direction, but these two pieces are what's weighing down on the margins versus what they are guiding for in terms of margins. But the recovery is likely to be underway as per Motilal. They believe that it's going to be driven by easing raw material prices and a richer product mix. There's also going to be operational efficiencies and supply chain investments which are likely to play out in coming years. So what's the catch? There's also some bit of debt. So that is something to be kept in mind. Around 750 odd crore of debt at the end of FY24, which is now sitting at 650 crore. We had a debt cycle which eased off. FY23 we started a new capex and a new debt cycle. Now that seems to be coming off. So what will therefore happen is your ROEs will start to inch up. From 13%, they should inch up to 18% in the next few years. ROIC, or return on invested capital, also should inch up in similar trajectory from 13 to 21 odd percent. So what are we expecting in terms of numbers? Motilal is expecting around a 16% revenue CAGR over the next few years. They are expecting margins to improve from sub 14% to 16.2% by FY28, and they are modeling EBITDA and PAT CAGR of 22 and 30% respectively. Currently, it's trading at around 67 times. So, of course, it's expensive. No doubt on that. And I'm talking about FY26 EPS 67 times. But Motilal is valuing this at 60 times June 2027 EPS. So, hence, finding it reasonable. Important to understand risks because it's expensive. Any steep inflation in extra neutral alcohol and glass prices could weigh down on numbers. Any increase in excise duty, because financial health of many states is under pressure, and therefore you might see that inch up in terms of excise duty and competitive intensity. Keep your eye out on some of these. It's a very interesting space.